Today, I'll be showing you the psychological and emotional challenges that make retiring after age 60 particularly difficult. You'd think that after working so many years and saving and growing your money, that you'd be excited and more than ready to embrace retirement. And while that can certainly be true, oftentimes it takes a year or two to adjust mentally to being retired. If you're new to the channel, hi, I'm Julia, certified financial planner and managing director at URS Advisory. And over my many years helping clients transition to retirement, I've watched how age 60 becomes a critical threshold where emotional attachments to work grow significantly stronger. And that's exactly why I'm making this video today, to show you why retiring after 60 presents unique emotional challenges and how to overcome them. So let's get into it. Let's start with the question, which is, why is retiring after age 60 so hard? Well, there are a few reasons. First, most people spend decades building their career identity, and the longer you've worked, the more that lifestyle is ingrained into your psyche. The majority of our clients are or were very successful in their job, and they worked very hard to get there. If they're retiring in their 60s, they're leaving at the peak of their careers when they're most admired and needed at their place of work. They've provided for their families and prided themselves on being great at what they did. And leaving all of this, your source of income, your identity, your self-worth, can be much more difficult than you might imagine. Robert de la Montague, PhD, wrote a profound book titled The Retiring Mind, which details his experience with retirement in 2007, where he left the workforce as CEO and chairman of an online learning company. And much of what he experienced is what we often see in our practice. You see, when you retire, you'll typically feel one of two things: the retirement honeymoon, where you're having fun and it just feels so new and exciting, or you feel the retirement blues. The retirement blues is a very real condition, and it's when a retiree feels lost and without a sense of self or purpose. Those leaving a leadership position are especially vulnerable. As Robert writes, your ego determines your identity when you work, but when you enter retirement, you go into an egoless state. Chairman of the board doesn't mean a thing when you're retired. Thoughts like, am I being useful? Or, what am I bringing to the table now? And, I can't just play bridge and golf for the rest of my life. These thoughts start to creep in and put a damper on your ability to enjoy life. Obviously, this can happen when you retire at any age, right? But when you retire younger, say your 50s, you have more time while you're young and healthy to easily find a new passion or life purpose. The older you get, the harder it is to separate yourself from that identity at work. And even those that have those honeymoon feelings right after retirement can start to feel the blues a year or two in, and especially if they have a plan for life after retirement. If you're married, retirement forces you together for much of the day, sometimes for the first time in years. You know the old saying, I married you for better or worse, but not for lunch? We've seen this many times in our practice. I mean, my husband and I, we work together, but we also typically work at separate offices, so I get it, right? But we've seen many times where the husband retires and the wife starts to get irritated by the demands. One of our clients even said, you need to stop telling me what to do. I am not one of your employees. Most are reluctant to talk openly about these negative feelings because they feel embarrassed or ashamed. The fear of leaving work because of these issues can impact when you retire. Maybe you're constantly postponing retirement, even though you have more than enough money to afford it. Or maybe your job has become overly stressful and you want to leave, but you have no idea what you'd do if you retired tomorrow. Sadly, tomorrow is not promised. And if you do this for too long, you'll miss your prime years when you're young and healthy and can still live your life to the fullest. So now that you understand why retirement after 60 can be challenging, you need to realize that this goes beyond just the emotional transition. It's about creating a complete strategy that sets you up for success. After helping hundreds of people plan their retirements, I've discovered that the biggest factor in success isn't just your preparation. It's about having a plan that's customized to your specific situation. That's exactly why I've put together a free video where I break down my exact system for building a successful retirement. So click the link below to watch it now. All right, back to the video. Fortunately, there are many solutions for the retirement blues, and much of these can be done preventatively. As our client Craig said it best, it's not what you retire from, it's what you retire to. The truth is that the most successful retirees have much more than just money. They have a zest for life beyond their current job. They've either gained time to pursue a hobby that they already had or found a new hobby that they fell in love with. Many spend their days with their family, friends, volunteering. Some even work an odd job part-time just to keep active. I've seen many high-performing, high-energy executives successfully retire to working part-time at a car shop or at their kid's business, happy as clams. So if you're still working, but you have other interests that you wish that you had time for, these are the things that you can fill your day with once you retire. It's crucial to spend just as much time on the personal lifestyle side of retirement as you do on the financial side. Your work may have been your calling, but your identity is really who you are on the inside. Now that you can see why the emotional transition to retirement is often harder than the financial one, let's look at someone who's successfully navigated this challenge. Meet David, 63 years old, and a senior executive of an IT company. He put in for his retirement at 65, as that has always been his goal for 20-some years, was to retire at age 65. He has more than enough savings, but a year out, he's anxious about how he'll fill his currently very busy day in just 1 year's time. He's married to Nancy, 61, who stayed at home to raise their 3 children. She spends her days visiting kids and grandkids, volunteering for their church, playing tennis and golf, and just maintaining their home. David's been working for 42 years straight. So the thought of being at home all the time doesn't just worry David, but Nancy too. At the same time, Nancy wants him to spend more time with his kids and grandkids and have more time to spend together too. They currently spend about $200,000 per year, and they want to increase their spending to $250,000 once he retires. They have $4.5 million in total investable assets and ample insurance coverage, so they can certainly afford to retire well. Once we showed him the numbers behind his retirement roadmap and the exact financial steps to get there, we started working on a purpose-based life plan, a step many miss before they retire. The reality is that you don't necessarily have to stop working. You just have to find new jobs. So the first step in a purpose-based life plan is to ask yourself, what are you working for? Of course, we all work to make money, and some of us like the prestige, but more times than not, we started working for something much bigger and more meaningful. For David, he started working to take care of his young family. He worked his way up in the same company for 40 years. And one main reason he worked so hard is because one of his children has special needs that need and still needs a lot of attention and money. So he worked overtime to pay for those bills. He thought about this for a few days and realized that he truly had missed a lot of family time, events, moments, and just memories. He wrote down which family relationships he wants to strengthen now, and especially once he retires. His vision of a natural, booming family life at retirement is unfortunately not currently realistic. So he needs to start spending time now rebuilding stronger relationships with his kids and with his wife. He and Nancy talked about this and about her anxiety around him being home all the time. They started to put together a weekly schedule of what Nancy currently does, as well as what David would like to do each day to keep busy. He had some trouble finding, things to do each day, each week, and each day. So the next step we took was for him to complete a values assessment. If you Google values assessment, you'll see something like this. I had him circle his top 10 values from this long list. He chose family, achievement, conflict resolution, continuous learning, ethics, family, financial stability, future generations, health, and leadership. We say 10 because you may not be able to include your top 5 right away in retirement, right? If my first value is balance, but I retire into having to care for a family member, I'm not going to have much balance. We need 10 so that we can shift with the natural parts of life. This is an important step because you want to feel like you're living close to your values every day. David realized how much he loves helping people resolve conflict, so he decided to join the HOA committee in his neighborhood, which will certainly take up a lot of time of his week. He also decides to register for classes at the local community college on world history, as it's always been a great interest to him. He also wants to help his 12-year-old grandson find his life passion, so he'll spend more time mentoring him each week in this area. So that's 3 activities that he's excited about already that he pulled straight from his values assessment. Digging deeper into your why behind work and the values close to your heart will help you create your retirement life plan. Okay, so now you know some practical steps to retire well emotionally, not just financially. And what touches me most in my practice isn't just the financial side. It's watching people navigate the profound psychological transition that retirement represents. And through years of guiding clients through this life change, I discovered that successful retirement isn't just about having enough money. It's about being emotionally ready to embrace this new chapter. The most fulfilled retirees we work with aren't just financially prepared. They're the ones who found peace with letting go of their working identity. Now, if you want to further optimize your retirement, I put together a free video breaking down the exact strategy I use with our clients to help them plan their dream retirement. Just click the link below to watch it, and I'll see you next time.